ChocolateSpokes is down in the area I was talking about in the last issue of VIP Room magazine. It's the 5 Points area in Denver. And the reason I'm here, as a lot of you know, I do a lot more than just music and videos and marketing and web design. One of the things I do is I just like working with businesses, and sometimes the biggest issue is their computer technology failing them. So I came in here, just so you know, these are the official people that do not only my personal bicycle that I ride around, but they also do Captain Motivation's bicycle that's in all his music videos. This is the people that actually do keep those bicycles maintained so that we can get around and talk about holistic and earthly things, grounded things such as organic foods and staying in better shape and healthier living, just enjoying life and a better environment. So ChocolateSpokes on 27th and Downing in Denver, Colorado is one of those shops that actually really has a big effect on the world, because they maintain the bicycles to help us keep down pollution, help us stay in shape a little bit better, and we start eating better. So today we're going to be fixing his Mac. He's having a problem with his Mac, so I told him I would come down and fix it for him. And of course, I brought Mystique. That's my ace there, so that's my road dog. So I brought Mystique with me, and we're going to go downstairs. And what we're going to be doing today is replacing his hard drive, putting a new hard drive in, upgrading his RAM. We're going to upgrade him to El Captain, and then hopefully give him some new software and give his business the boost that it needs, that system that's dependable so that he can run his business efficiently. So come on with us. Let's go. Okay, so you see us down. We're in the actual secret lair. And let's pan around so you can see we're actually in the basement of the bicycle shop. And you can see that, it's got a nice little business. You can also see this is the poor baby we need to work on. And as you can see, she's been through some time. So the problem is most people think once your computer's old, you should get rid of it. The truth of the matter is, most of them could be updated. Some of the computers I'm running was made way back in the 90s, so early 90s. And my main music system I've showed you many times is updated and everything, and it's a lot less expensive than buying a new computer. And you weigh out what you do on your computer, and that should tell you what you should buy. Now, if you're a gadget person such as Mystique,
yes, I am.
then you always want the latest and the greatest, and that's cool if that's what you want and you can afford it. Majority of us try to hold on to funds and stuff, and so we work with what we got. So this is the same identical Mac that I have at home that I actually still use. It's 2009. I believe that's a 2009. It says it on the back, aluminum. His might be a little bit newer. No, I think it's the same one. So, yeah, it's the same one. I don't want to flip it over on the bottom. So it needs some cleaning up. I forgot my Clorox wipes to clean it up and stuff, but we're going to clean it up, get it all fixed up, so I'm going to get started on that. Okay, so now, break out my tools. The first thing we're going to do is take the screen off. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I like to just always keep updated and stuff. I check out a lot of videos on YouTube, as you guys know. This is my computer tool set. And believe it or not, so far I found out that so many of them are close, but actually inaccurate when it comes to working on your computer. It's close enough for you to figure it out and get it fixed if your computer swab it just a little bit. A child can usually do it. Also, if you're not afraid to get out of it. One thing a lot of people don't know about these is the front screen's magnetic. Okay, so you just get a little suction cup. I get the little shower ones that you squeeze down and it sucks. I get those guys and I just pop them in there like that. Ba-down. And it's off. So So that takes care of that screen. And I just release my little suction cups. Sometimes easier said than done. So something I do usually is while this is off, clean both sides of it, get it all nice and clean. So that's that's the first thing. He's already got a plastic table. So what I'm going to do is just grab this little crate over here, and I'm going to put this crate. That's what I'm going to use to set his stuff up. I'm not going to sit on the chair. You're done with the suction cups. Go ahead and put the suction cups back in there. Yeah, and then you can just run it back and forth. I'll just set this glass in there. I'm going to take out the keyboard, the plug.
That's good now.
And believe me, I'm going to edit a lot of this out, so. Keyboard, plug, right, keep it for the pool. Put all that in there. Put it all in there. I'm not going to need it. What we're going to do is lay this little puppy down. You can see right here, this is his new RAM. He's got 8 gigs and his new hard drive. So, did you keep mixing them back and forth?
Yeah, mine's okay now.
So now, there's star screws here. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 star screws. So you need the star tip. Find the right one, and then I will show you. Oh, you're too small. A star tip. Come here. You're the right one, I think. Yep, you're the right one. So this little guy. This is a ooh, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time focusing on that. But anyway, it's a star tip screwdriver. You know, it kind of looks like a star. You're gonna need one of those. So you take out all 12 screws. Now I'm not gonna let you guys suffer while I take out all these screws. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the camera, and I will punch back in. I'd be saying some crazy thing. Okay, so now I took the screws out. It's the same star screw as what you use to take the other ones out. You lift it up and you'll see there's 2 cables here. Right there, that's gonna prevent you from lifting it any higher. What I do is, can you pass me the Sharpie? Yeah, I take a Sharpie, there's one with the blue on it, and I tend to just put a little Sharpie mark on there so that I know that those 2 guys go together. And that's before I take them apart. And that's what I do, because the bottom of them are gray, which I'll show you in a minute. The bottom of the cables are just gray, so you can't tell them apart. So the bottoms are just gray. So I mark them. So I don't lift any higher than this. There's another set of cables here, and there's another set of cables here. What I do is I just prop it. I prop it up. Again, you see a lot of dust. I'll state it right there. I'll drop it down. Okay. So, let me zoom in for you so you can really see in there. So you can see, this is the hard drive. This is who we're dealing with today. That's your CD. You are the power supply system, and then the motherboard's down at the bottom and goes through to the bottom end. They do really good with building a cooling system within this system. That's what this big fan is, and that's why it's got to be dust free, because these guys get super, super, super hot. They're highly insulated. They have a lot of stuff in a little small area that gets super hot. If you feel behind your Mac or even your Sony, if you have that Sony all-in-one, any of the all-in-ones get really hot. So they got really nice cooling systems, but you have to make sure that they're clean. Otherwise your capacitors overheat and they explode. You won't hear them explode. Your computer just starts acting funny and eventually burns out until you replace the capacitors. So what we're going to do is yank out the hard drive. I'm just going to tell you how I do it. This right here, usually just squeeze it in. Now remember, on Macs, they actually have a temperature sensor on top of the hard drive, always. So this little cable, if you follow it, it goes towards this little styrofoam, which is a temperature gauge. It's a thermostat basically, and it tells the Mac when to turn on the fan a little higher. It speeds up the fan so it can cool it off. That's got to be on there. Mac really doesn't work without it. I've tried it. So sometimes these are so old, and there's no place to really stick a screwdriver and force the little thingy back. So what I do is I just unscrew these 2 screws, slide it out. On the other side is just 2 little nipples, and so I just pop that out, put them on the other drive, put the drive back in there, and close it on that. And I'm going to show you once the drive is out. So let me just go ahead and take it out. Okay, what I want to show you is down in here. This is one of the areas where a lot of the videos I seen was wrong, and it's going to be kind of hard for the camera to focus. Let me try to get a focus for you, because it's so up close. There we go. There we go. Oops. See, my eyes are bad too. So there we go. Okay, now right here, this is the little clip, and if you look down here, there is a little housing that it goes in. It's underneath the styrofoam, and there's a little housing. This guy just plugs in there. So this little housing, you have to glue it back down. Sorry, I see I dropped down a little bit. This little housing, you would have to glue it back down if you pulled it off. And what I do is I just lift a little clip and slide out the thermostat pad. That's one of the great. There's a little clip on it, and I just slide out the thermostat pad. As you can see, I just took out the screws. They're all pretty much, if I can get you in focus here. Guess not. They're all pretty much star screws. So the autofocus is beating me up. See, there's the screw. Okay, they're star screws. So for the most part, it's pretty easy to do to update your computer. And the autofocus kicked back in. Great. So now that I've taken off the thermostat, there's lots of tape on the top of here. So the tape I just take off, I brought out some extra black tape with me. So I'm just going to take this tape, flip it up, and release the extra wire that they have for the thermostat. Slide this puppy on out. You can see it's pretty old, pretty dirty. And again, it has the star screws with the 2 little nipples I was talking about. So what I do is I just lay that guy there. I'll put the other hard drive next to it, and then I'll just put the screws back in the way they go, slide it back in there. But before I do anything, I'm going to see if he has a compressor so I can just blow this out. It really needs to be blown out. There's a bed of dust underneath where the hard drive goes, so it really needs to be cleaned out. That helps stops the static electricity from electrocuting your system, which happens quite often, believe it or not. And it helps keep your system cool. And the important thing is, you know, the main thing you guys hear about is the computer chip or the brain being the part you need to keep cool. Well, the truth of the matter is there's capacitors in there that also get extremely hot, and they have these little tops that kind of pop open once they overheat and go bad. So you want to try to keep those guys kind of cool, and the best way to do that is once a year, just blow it out. Just blow it out. Okay, let me go find out. Okay, so he does have a compressor upstairs, and it'll reach outside. So what we're actually going to do is, for safety, I use the housing lid for the RAM to actually hold the monitor up. I'm sure there's lots of better ways to do that. What we're going to do is take this poor little baby and take it on upstairs, outside, come on with me, and we are going to clean her out. Get her a bath.
we're here till 5 o'clock.
So we just want to make sure again that this doesn't fall. And we're going to start from the back to the front. So I'm just going to start right here. And slide it back a little bit. Hold on to the monitor. Now she looks new. That's what you want. That'll help save your system a lot. There.
Yeah, sure.
That is how your computer system should look. Once a year, if you just do this once a year, it will add years to your computer. It will add years to your computer. So now that we've done that, we're going to take it back downstairs and start putting her back together. See, it's all cleaned out now, so that just added like another 3-4 years to it. So,
Good.
that'll help.
I'm putting it on there. I know. I said I'm not. I'll wait for you to do it. I ain't trying to drop this thing.
Okay, so we got her all back together.
You do, okay.
Huh?
You do.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah,
Am
yeah.
I interrupting? Sorry.
No, you're fine. So we got it all back together. I like to just clean the glass because you will, when you get it back together, you will see your fingerprints, you will see streaks, you will see all kinds of stuff. So just clean it. Clean it real quick. Give it a nice little clean. And, you know, Macs and Sony's, I know Sony went out of business, but they both use like some of the top of the line monitors, so you definitely want that pristine look. Even the older ones, their monitors, if you look at your all-in-one and then go and look at a Mac monitor, even an old one, they're extremely excellent monitors, so you want it clean. You want it to look perfect. So, you know, after I do the wet wipe, I kind of do a dry one to get all the streaks going out of the way, get all the fingerprints off. Now, for you business people, I mean, this is something you can do with the kids on a Saturday, and just be sure that you know, teach them how to do it early, and then I'm wiping out the streaks. That's what I'm doing. I'm buffing out the streaks. I am a glass fanatic, so you know, glass has got to be like super clean for me. Anybody who knows me knows I'm real OCD about my glass. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Get this little corner. I see it. Other people may not, but I do. So that's pretty much it. Now we got this glass clean. Looking really nice. Loving it. Yes, yes, yes. Just a nice little light blow to get any little dust particles off the glass. that just makes sure that you have a real nice clean monitor. Now before I put this back on, I'm going to clean it too. I wish I had brought my Clorox wipes. Actually, I'm going to put it on and then clean it. With the older white Macs, you know, I've seen a lot of videos of people talking about prying open the top, and you know, you pry open the top. Well, the truth of the matter is you take all the screws out, and on the bottom, oh, it's the inside? Oh yeah, let's get it. But really quick, on the bottom, you know, the Macs open up this way. Okay, so for all you making those YouTube videos, struggling with the top of the Mac and forcing that open, truth of the matter is, the white ones, once you take out all the screws, you slide it, you just pull down a little bit and slide it up, and it slides open from the bottom. This one, once you take the screws out, you slide it this way and slide it down. So that's just a little hint for some of you. That's one of the inaccuracies I found in the videos, and it can end up damaging your computer if you're a self-techie, fixie person like me. And understand, you know, some of these Macs, you know, the repair shops aren't repairing anymore. So if you want to keep it, you know, and use it, you know, like the white ones I tend to give to children that's going to school. The software's older. You can't put El Captain and all that, so they're not going to be on the internet doing all the stuff that the newer software can do, FaceTiming and all that. They're not going to be doing all that. So, you know, it becomes pretty much a home research computer, or, you know, whatever. And Mac has really good parental controls. I really like their parental controls, actually. A lot of password asking, but, you know, they're pretty good. In case you were wondering, I was cleaning the Madniks. These are Madniks, and they got that Madnik dust on them. And I know I say it in a way that people's like, did he just say Madnik? But yes, I did say that. Oh, there's still some in the front. So yeah, you want to go around, you know, to just the little magnetic pieces of iron that Madniks pick up. Told y'all I was OCD about the glass. Now, when you put this back together, you got this little cable right here, this little itty bitty tiny cable, and you just slide them back together. Try not to touch your glass. You can just finish cleaning. I got it upside down. It should plug in really easy. It's not going to let you plug it in the wrong direction. So, I mean, they did give you a little bit of a leeway to actually do it. There we go. So when you plug it in, just slide it underneath the aluminum and slide it back out. And tuck that back in there. Make sure it's not coming over your monitor, but that it stays down inside the hole, okay? And that's your little camera and microphone. And so, right now, this little puppy's done. I gotta bolt these back in, clean the other piece of glass, and then we're gonna put the RAM in. Really fast before I forget, I wanna make sure I make a note of it, is that when you take these screws out, you'll notice that there's 4 long ones and 8 short ones. The short ones go around the top of the monitor. The 4 long ones go across the bottom. So, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, keeping your screws all separate, because the ones that bolt down the monitor actually look completely different than these guys. And then you got these guys, and then you got the ones that do the hard drive. So it's not a whole lot of screws. It's not a whole lot of sorting out, keeping specific screws in different areas so you know exactly what they are. When you take them out, you know, like I did, you could throw them in a case, and you pretty much know, because the screws look different. They all look different. So I just wanted to make a note of that. Oh, bless you. Whether you heard me or not, I still say. So then, you know, when you're bolting it in, is really more intimidating than it actually is treacherous. You know, it's nothing, you know, there's very few little things that you can do to mess it up, but, you know, really, honestly, if you take your time, enjoy it, you know, do it, like I said, with your kids, and, you know, just let them see and be fascinated by the inside workings of a computer and stuff. Then you pay attention to the little details, like the little itty-bitty cable there, and you don't accidentally, and if you're not reckless and you're not trying to use tools that you're not supposed to be using, you know, it just, the chances of you messing it up is pretty slim. So for you DIY people, you know, do it yourself, DIY, you know, it's fun actually, and you know, there's very little risk, and you extend the life of your computer because, you know, and you know, the cost, because maintenance on these, it's pretty expensive, you know. I know that I work with a lot of people who don't have a lot of money for the computers, and their computers are all they have, you know. They can't afford to buy new ones and stuff, so I tend to really work with people and try to do my best to help them out and still buy milk and cookies. But, you know, the repair shops, even though they're reasonably priced, most of them, it can get expensive. If you don't have $50 to $200 to fix your system, this can get quite pricey. So now right here for the RAM, there's two just tabs right there. They're plastic, kind of like it for people who remember the 3M tapes that we used to tape on, record on. It's that same material, and you just kind of give it a little tug and the RAM slides right out. Okay, so he has that's a 1 gigabyte chip, and this is it just says it's a spare part, but I'm guessing this one's a 512, so he had 15 gigs of RAM in here. Yeah, that's what I told him when I first came in and I seen him boot up the computer. I said, two problems: your hard drive's running slow and you don't have enough RAM. So I told him to upgrade as much as he could. The maximum on these guys are 6, and that's running Mavericks, El Captain, Yosemite. So he got 8. So there's going to be 2 gigs of RAM just kind of floating around there, not really doing anything. If I had a 2 gig chip, I would tell him to send one of these 4s back and get and you know, just go with the straight 6. But oh no, he's got a straight 4. So what I'll do is I'll put the 4 gig in and the 1 gigabyte chip back in. Then you'll have 5, and you know, that's still pretty good for this little guy. So you just take it, you slip it right there, you just line up the slots, just push it in, and then you just slide the little plastic tab, you can tuck it in behind the RAM, and it's a done data. So now the RAM is all the way in there, I can feel it tucked in, and then I'm going to wipe my hands again, make sure I don't have any dust. I didn't the first time, but I want to be sure I don't. And I need a pair of scissors that I didn't bring. Did I bring a knife? No, I didn't. So I'll be right back. I gotta cut this open. Okay, so we got this cut open. So what we're gonna do is pull out this little 4 gig. Chip right there, and I'm going to slide it in. Now, if you look down there, this little hole right there, you'll see the little crossbar for it. So like I said, you just pretty much line up the thingy, and then you just push it in. I like putting the tape in there so it touch the fingers a little bit. There we go. Okay. Let me check. This one doesn't look as tucked in as it should. I'm gonna pull it back out just to make sure. It ain't gonna hurt me to pull it out. Tuck the tape back behind it and push it in again. Just, yep, there we go. That's the feel I like. There's a feel I go for. Then you just slide your little cover back on. Line up your screw holes. And screw it in.
Line it up and screw it in. Just what I like.
There we go. And I got my small Phillips screwdriver in here. Let me just grab that one. And give myself, oh, there's the flathead, the small flathead. That'll work too.
Could have grabbed it.
Hold on, it's too big. My weight. There it is. Come here. So now, mechanically, I'm actually done. Except for getting this one little screw in. Don't do this. I'm doing it because I've been doing it for a while, but don't do it. A lot of people drop their computers and like, oh my God. Yes. Always try to leave it flat. I just need to get it a little force up here. And I brought the wrong Phillips screwdriver to force. And it shouldn't be this hard, but it's trying to be. And you just take it back off. See why you give me such a hard time. Might have it sitting on there backwards. Little belts, right? Little belt's supposed to be there. You just sit you down on there. Go over the belt. There you go. Okay. What are you fighting me for, buddy?
Cause you're light skinned.
Right. Because of the spirit.
Bad too.
Gotta test my patience. Okay. So for the most part, guess what? This bad boy is put back together. The only thing we gotta do is clean her up and clean her up and put the operating system on her. But you know, like I said, before you do anything, clean this. Just clean it. I know it's kind of hard to see in this lighting, but I think you can probably see up here in the corner all the little marks. So even though it might look clear to you, as you're looking at it from just glancing at it, just clean it. Just go ahead. Give her a little run around. Because there's dust and stuff all down in here that you really want off of there that you're not seeing. And what it does is just makes your monitor look like blurry, basically. So just give it a little wipe, flip it over to the dry side and go in circles, and that will get rid of all your streaks. Yeah, and just go around in circles so you feel it's clean and no streaks. Then do the other side with a new paper towel. And when you get done, it should look magnificent. Magnificent, darling. Now, and you know, the way I took this off, if you ever need to clean your monitor, then you know that you can just take the suction cups, put them on here, and clean it. You know, just give it a once over. Oh, that looks a lot better. A lot better. Oh, I guess that's on the other side, so let me get that other side again. See? And I know that this is where the camera goes, so This little corner up here has got some, it's like a pop or something spilled on it. So we'll just wipe it off. It's not quite coming off, but it's a lot better than it was. Yes, sirree. So now we got a nice, fairly clean piece of glass. I see a couple streaks. Let me figure out which side they're on. They're on this side. Great. We'll get them off. Woohoo! Okay. And like I said, cleaning the glass is pretty easy. So you just slide this up there, put the bottom ones in, put the top in, and it pops back in on its own. So, she's back together. Now, of course, we want to test it and make sure Spirit is as smart as he says he is. I like to think that I'm smart. Doesn't mean that I am. Just like to think I am. So, the only thing that makes me look smart is I'm willing to test my knowledge. And so the first thing I want to do is just boot it up. I just want to boot it up, make sure everybody boots up, you know, make sure it comes on. There's no big issues where I got to take it apart again. And make sure he's okay. Ooh, got a little spark there. Okay. So what we're going to do is just really quick, just plug in the keyboard and the mouse. You know, and a lot of computer technicians actually pause the camera, and then after they boot it up, they start it again. Because sometimes we do. We hit problems, we hit issues, but you know, what good does it do me to do a tutorial about this and then not show you what the boot looks like? Oh, I hear her firing up. Ooh, we got the Macintosh sound. So the keyboard came on. In a minute I should get a flashing folder that says, hey, you know, there's no information in here, buddy. So I should get that signal pretty soon. Takes a few minutes. I know it's also checking out. It's saying, hey, you know, there's more RAM in here. Wow, I got more oxygen to breathe. And so it's like, okay, there's been some changes to me, and it's updating its files, letting itself know that there's been some changes. But if I gave it a few, there would be a folder. But what I don't like is, you might not be able to hear it, but I hear a slight tick. And it sounds like it's coming off the fan. So I'm going to let the client know that there's a slight tick on that fan, and that he needs to pay attention to that. Make sure that it's blowing out air. I can feel up here that it's blowing out a fair amount of air. So, and the other thing is I got to put it back in the firmware. When I install the operating system, it'll do all that. So excuse me. Thank you. Bless you too. So it'll do all that. It'll update the fan. It could be the fan just running slow, just rotating because there's no firmware there to tell it how fast to be going. I know there's a lot, huh? So what we're going to do now is we're going to make this real easy. Give me a second. Let me clean all this stuff up, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so last part of what I'm doing is I am installing OS X El Captain. It's actually going onto the hard drive that's over here from this computer. Like I said, that's a really, the FireWire setup is really cool on Macintoshes. I do believe that the Linux does it too. And you know, I use a lot of Linux systems. So I'm going to let this finish installing, get it all installed, then boot this bad boy up for you so you can see and do the final cleanup, and then we're going to go talk to the owner of the bike shop before we take off, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. So now what we got is, what you see here is me installing El Captain to this computer. We got 13 minutes left, and then I'm gonna boot this computer up and show it to you, and we'll work from there. Okay?
Alright, my name is Gregory Critchlow. We are ChocolateSpokes Bike Studio, a full service bike shop here in Five Points, Colorado. We do full service repair, we make our own bikes, and we sell chocolate. In the wintertime, we do ski and snowboard tuning as well. And thank you very much for helping us fix our website. Oh, our website is www.chocolatespokes.com. Alright.
There you go.